Make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Well, never mind all that stuff, because COVID also taught Sunny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered. Yeah, I know, amazing. But that means it's time for...
Living your life and you're feeling low. You don't know what is true. You don't know what's true. So you quick flip through the channels to watch Sunny on The View. Oh my God, the stuff she says is dumb. Where the hell they get this woman from? She's a host who's always crass and lame, with lots of nonsense to proclaim.
Sunny Hostin just suffered a full-on televised implosion. Greg Gutfeld dropped a truth bomb so savage, it shattered her whole on-screen persona in seconds. No scripts could save her. No co-hosts dared to jump in. As Gutfeld exposed her hypocrisy live, Sunny's confidence cracked like glass. Stammering, blank stares, even the teleprompter bailed. It was a disaster unfolding in real time, and the tension was palpable. Backstage, screaming matches, slammed doors, and staffers scrambling. One insider said it was like watching a PR nightmare in HD. And Sunny's response? A half-baked tweet pretending nothing happened. But the internet's already feasting on the footage. And the memes are savage. The View's echo chamber just got shattered, and Sunny? She's at the center of the storm.
Make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to poke it with a stick.
It finally happened. Sunny Hostin didn't just stumble, she collapsed. This wasn't your usual View blunder. It was a full-on live meltdown in crystal clear HD. Greg Gutfeld came armed with facts and zero mercy. In under 2 minutes, he dismantled Sunny's narrative and exposed hypocrisy the show's dodged for years. The shift was instant. Smug grin gone, stunned silence, eyes darting for help. The internet caught it all, clipped, slowed, and memed into oblivion. Gutfeld didn't argue, he obliterated.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from Europe. Here's how she took the news.
It all started like any regular Tuesday on The View. Basically a group therapy session with applause. Cue the self-congratulation, exaggerated moral high ground, and the usual, we're saving the world energy. Sunny Hostin, ever the legal expert in title only, took center stage. Think, confidence of a lawyer, accuracy of a trivia night dropout. Her take? Classic Sunny. Blame everyone else, skip the facts, and say it loud enough to sound smart. Spoiler, it didn't end well.
So, Sunny, I bet you haven't been in a supermarket since COVID for about 3 years.
I haven't been in a supermarket since COVID. For about 3 years. That's when I discovered Instacart. And I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well. And it's so that's been an issue, I think, for the company. But, man, you can get toiletries. You can get fire logs. You know those big bounty towels you don't want to carry?
Those from Costco.
Somebody else goes.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable. Hey, I'm an but at least I tip.
If you've never seen The View, just picture a live-action Facebook comment war. Only louder, smugger, and dressed in daytime glam. It's like watching a panel of self-declared experts who skimmed one Wikipedia article on the Constitution and now think they're writing legal textbooks. Sunny Hostin? She slots right in. The so-called voice of reason? If your idea of reason involves yelling threat to democracy every time someone challenges her latte-fueled worldview,
Wow, I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was. My family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that, and I think it's great for our children to know this information.
Fact of life. Interesting change of tune. For more, we go to our chief Sunny Hostin correspondent for a reaction.
Greg Gutfeld stepped in, and that's when the real fireworks kicked off. Now, Gutfeld's not exactly buttoned up. He's that sharp-tongued guest at dinner who says what everyone's thinking, but is too polite or scared to say. And poor Sunny, no one warned her that sarcasm is still legal. The second Greg started listing her greatest hits of hypocrisy, Sunny folded faster than a cheap deck chair in a windstorm. Let's talk about her trademark move, demanding civil discourse while casually labeling half the country as democracy-destroying monsters. Agree with her, or you're basically public enemy number one. And Greg wasn't done. He turned full audit mode, digging up contradictions like a forensic expert, family separations. Outrage? Unless it's her side doing it, then suddenly it's complex. Hypocrisy? Sunny doesn't just practice it, she decorates with it.
I think that women, white women in particular, want to protect the patriarchy here because it's to their benefit. Yeah. They want to make sure that their husbands do well. They want to make sure that their sons do well. They want to make sure that their children do well. And they want to make sure that they do well. Most of the women in some of these studies are married white women, and they do fall in line with what their husbands are doing.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there.
Sunny, who spent years...
Greg laid it all out. No filter. Sunny's outrage? A light switch, flipped on the second a conservative breathes, off when her side takes a sledgehammer to the Constitution. She's the type to demand investigations over a spicy tweet while defending politicians who couldn't spell ethics if you handed them a dictionary and a tutor. And the audience? Loyal as ever. Gutfeld could have shown them a scrapbook of Sunny contradicting herself, signed in glitter ink by Sunny herself, and they'd still boo him for hate speech. So Sunny did what modern TV pundits do best. She played the victim. Fast. With a quivering voice and the kind of tears you get after 3 rounds of media training, she turned a critique of her hypocrisy into a sweeping attack on women, minorities, and possibly rescue puppies. Because when you're losing the debate, just emotional nuke the whole stage.
I'm gonna milk this till the end of time. You're right, anytime she says something stupid, I'm gonna go, slave owner! Kat, I just watched that. That's the second time I've watched that. She was tipped off beforehand, right? Because they had to tell her before, so she had time to regroup. They wouldn't just surprise. You think? No?
I don't know. I feel like she could have maybe done better. Okay, here's the thing.
Sunny, who spent years hurling insults from her ABC throne, suddenly breaks down because someone called out her endless contradictions. The emotional gymnastics? Olympic level, if self-awareness was a sport. The View? Full defense mode. Co-hosts circled the wagons, with Whoopi giving a pep talk that basically said, facts are optional if you feel strongly enough. Behind the scenes, producers panicked like it was a national crisis. But for Sunny, getting called out for hypocrisy was the real threat.
Joy Behar gets racism, after all. She's been black on Halloween. Yeah. But Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. But that is convenient, right? It's like one of my aunts dies every time Brian Kilmeade wants to hang out. Maybe Joy needs a full day to read her hate mail, and that's just from the rest of the cast. So Scott had to deal with Sunny Hostin and her typical self-righteousness.
Greg Gutfeld exposed Sunny Hostin's hypocrisy, and the internet had a field day. Memes flooded Twitter, strong opinions, weak spine, and when you realize receipts don't lie, went viral. Even the apolitical crowd noticed when Sunny preached civility while trashing half the country. Greg's sarcastic takedown resonated with everyone tired of recycled cable news talking points, proving The View isn't a debate. It's a scripted performance, where any challenge gets booed.
But unlike this chick, we didn't think it was the best thing that could have happened to us. Although it did get Joy Behar to wear a mask. People, you make me sick. It's funny, her being named Joy is like me being named ugly.
The best part? Watching The View scramble to reframe the entire disaster, suddenly it wasn't about Sunny's hypocrisy, it was about protecting women from public criticism. Apparently, pointing out contradictions now qualifies as a federal hate crime. In reality, The View is a safe space for ideas that have never been challenged by logic or adult conversation. Sunny and her co-hosts aren't debating. They're holding daily self-esteem seminars disguised as political commentary. And the moment someone injects logic or sarcasm, they implode faster than a cheap umbrella in a storm. Sunny's meltdown was inevitable. She spent years stacking hypocrisy, one contradiction at a time. Greg Gutfeld, he just sneezed, and the whole tower came crashing down.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright.
Naturally, no modern meltdown is complete without a rebrand. Sunny launched into a teary-eyed sermon about growth and being vulnerable. Translation: forget I got caught playing Calvin ball with my own principles on live TV. It was almost impressive to watch The View turn a full-on exposure of lies and double standards into a healing moment. Honestly, it could have been a Marvel movie. Gaslighters assemble. Meanwhile, Gutfeld kept winning. No anger, no outrage, just that smug smirk that drives the professionally offended insane. He knows the game. The moment you expose the Emperor's nakedness, they accuse you of attacking body positivity. And poor Sunny, stuck in a loop. Every time she tries to reclaim moral superiority, someone just reminds her of that little meltdown where she unraveled faster than butter in a microwave. She's now a living meme.
Did you watch the whole thing, or just the parts that I sent you?
I watched it. Obviously, just the parts that you said. Did I watch a whole episode of The View?
No woman can do that unless you're stupid. But
I have a job.
Here's the thing. How can they call themselves progressives when they keep saying that nothing has progressed? Then it's on them.
Right. I just wish I could have, would have watched if I could, would have been Joy Behar watching that.
Yes.
And being like, I totally made the right call. It was not an accident that they had him there on her day off.
Yes.
When she was, presented herself as the, expert on systemic racism.
And of course, because no modern meltdown is complete without a rebranding,
Sunny's meltdown is a perfect example of emotional manipulation crashing into accountability. In a fair world, The View would use this moment to reflect and encourage actual debate. But let's be real. Intellectual honesty on The View is as likely as Sunny winning a Pulitzer for political courage. Instead, expect emotional support llamas, breathing exercises, and a series on why feelings matter more than facts. Sunny will keep claiming moral high ground while avoiding truth like it's radioactive. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld will remind America that the Emperor isn't just naked, but demanding a standing ovation for it.
More time to talk. And I thought Will Smith wouldn't let a black man finish. If her IQ was half as high as her smugness, she'd be Einstein. And later it got weird after Whoopi Goldberg asked a question and Sunny chimed in again.
Sunny's meltdown served as a perfect reminder that hypocrisy can only last so long before it implodes. You can only deceive yourself and your viewers for so long before someone finally exposes the truth. And let's be real, we all enjoyed watching it unfold. Ultimately, Sunny's breakdown wasn't about politics or just being exposed. It was the clash of fragile egos, fake outrage, and the harsh slap of reality. The View spun the wheel, and this time it landed squarely on embarrassment.